Welcome back, tribe. Let's get into it.
Question for all the men out there. Do y'all even want to be husbands anymore?
The footage you're seeing is of me and my family being as carefree as we want to be, me believing that I was the luckiest man in the world and I was doing everything right, as a father. Shortly after that, I would find out that my ex resented me immensely. She would end up putting me on child support while we were in a relationship, while we were still in the same house, okay? Which would ultimately put me in debt of over $50,000 to $100,000, okay? Obviously, the state would take my license, putting me further into a hole, yada, yada, yada. But why did she throw me out? Why did she choose to go and ride the car carousel? She was bored. We had been together since I was 18, and she decided to go and do what she wanted to do with a coworker. Oh well. Here's the thing, though. She didn't give me warning. She didn't give me things. She just started resenting me, started treating me like shit, and ultimately, she just threw me out.
Hey, he says I'm not taking care of you guys.
You see this, right? I'm not saying anything. What are you talking about?
Can you just say that?
What are you talking about?
You want to record me? I'm asking you not to record me, and it's against the law.
Okay, but I'm recording for my own thing. I'm not using it for court, dummy. Okay, I will, say. Just threw me out of our house, okay? And I was destitute, homeless. I ended up out here in Vegas. And to this day, she won't tell me what I did wrong to end that relationship. She was just bored. And in that time, I haven't had a relationship with my kids. She's turned them against me. Even this past Easter, I tried to go and visit them. They wouldn't even open the fucking door. Okay? Young men right now don't want to get married because older men like me tell them the horror stories of what could happen. I was in that relationship for almost 16 years. I didn't think that it would end the way that it did. Not with me just waking up one day and being thrown out of my fucking house. You get what I'm saying? Nobody believes that. Ending up in debt, like I said, almost $100,000 in debt that I'm still paying off this day. Struggling to keep my head above water because I invested everything into that family as I was supposed to. But now that I'm on my own, now that I'm trying to navigate life, it's very difficult because I spent all of my youth under that woman. And it was my family. I didn't think anything of it. But we tell young men this because they need to focus on themselves. We see y'all videos. We hear what y'all talk about. And y'all are very open about y'all hypergamous nature. So when people like me get up here and tell people, no, don't tie that knot. Because you as a man will end up in a similar situation. Young men are listening. And I'm glad that they are. I really am. Because if I had a time machine, the one thing I would go back and do is to tell myself at 18, don't pick up that phone when that girl called you and you fell in love with that woman. She will ruin your fucking life.
I have a lot of experience with stories like this when I used to bartend in college. And we had regulars. I mention this all the time. Men that would come in there and drink themselves to death, where they got absolutely wrecked in court. There's nothing left. Ending up destitute, homeless, etc., living out of their cars. I heard it all. And it is precisely why, thankfully, I never made that mistake. This is why I tell men constantly, the young ones among us, is work hard in your 20s and play in your 30s. You're already at a young age in the dating pool at a disadvantage because older men can swoop in and take your woman. You have nothing to offer. You're financially insecure. You haven't even started your career. You're barely able to feed yourself. You're in no position to even have a woman. Okay, at best. In today's society, the way it's structured, at best, you're a college student, engage in the casual life. That's it. And even then, be very careful you don't get anyone pregnant, because that is your ass. Again, do not take them for their word that they're on the pill and that everything's good. Do not expect her to be able to take that pill perfectly every single time. You are setting yourself up for failure and you're going to get trapped. It happens. If you find a woman that you're casually hooking up with and you don't want to commit, but she's all head over heels in love, you're laying it down like a champ, you're a professional pipe worker, she will forget to take the pill conveniently. And that's your ass. Hey babe, I'm pregnant. Look at the strips on the pregnancy test. Oh shit, my life is over. It happens to a ton of men. On top of that, the way society is set up for young women and the dating market being global for them, they don't even know what they want. And the men that they're angling for All those doctors, the lawyers, the rich businessmen on the dating apps that are swiping them just to pump and dump, they're trying to build lives up in their head, a caricature of like the perfect man, the perfect lifestyle. She's trying to mimic the Instagram life that she sees and is being fed. That's her pitfalls in society. You as a young man don't stand a chance. So don't bother. Focus on building your business. Focus on securing multiple income streams. Focus on bettering your life first. So that way you can have the pick of the litter and you choose to be in a relationship with a woman that's excited to be with you. Not a woman you had to convince. Not some young love that led to this happening. I have a similar story of someone I consider an older brother. Married to his high school sweetheart. Absolutely battered him emotionally. Destroyed his sense of self-esteem. And they finally got divorced. She got a ton of money off of him. And the man's still battling with self-esteem issues. He's not a man enough. He's not good enough. Nobody's going to find him attractive, etc., etc. And we're not even talking double standards yet. So gynocentrism, empowering these street queens to get as loose as they want with their bodies. No man from a natural order even wants that as a wife. 2, it's highly likely that if you date a woman that's been to college, especially a liberal one, she's had her experimental phase. If she has dating apps, if she's huge on social media, I guarantee you she's had an experimental phase. It is highly likely for you that you are settling down with a woman that is literally settling for you. She's had so many men, you cannot measure up. And she builds a stitch of every man she's ever dated. This perfect example of this guy did this did this. Combines that. Another guy did this, another guy did that really well. Combines that. She wants a man that has everything. All the best parts of each man she's ever dated. You will not measure up to that. That is why the divorce rates shoot up dramatically the more men a woman has. And with the dating game today, and her having access to a blue check marked guy on Instagram, some famous person that just happens to fly in her city, matches her for an easy lay because she's a fan and caught up in the hype of him being a celebrity, gets pumped and dumped, and now I deserve men that are celebrities. I deserve a guy that's like this, X, Y, and Z. She turns 30, what happens? Oh shit, I gotta settle down. Time's running out. I need a family. I want kids. I don't want to do this wage cuckery anymore. What does she do? Attach herself to some nice guy, blue pill, normal dude that's going to accept her because he himself has problems and self-esteem issues and lack of experience with women. And now they're getting married. She settled down, unhappy. They have a dead bedroom, yada, yada, yada. He has no backbone. She controls the relationship, controls all the money, and eventually they'll get divorced because she got bored. How many times have you heard that story? I've heard that. That's like overwhelmingly the story I hear about with divorces. Most people today, men and women, are not ready to be in a relationship, speaking financially and maturity. If you look at a young person today that's like 22 years old, 21, 25, their maturity level compared to generations prior, it's like you can't even compare them. They're still children, essentially. People are so spoiled and coddled in society today, especially these younger generations, that even if you're a successful older man and you try to date these younger women, good luck. There's nothing decent for you. There's nothing you would put a ring on. The West is basically built to be casual only these days. If you want a nuclear family, you have to search for a needle in a haystack, conservative, traditional-minded woman. They're becoming less and less in the United States, less and less in Western Europe. You have to go to places abroad where gynocentrism hasn't taken root so strongly yet. People are still traditional. They got their head spun on right, and they still value family and marriage. Because if you don't, and you risk getting married in America, you may end up like this gentleman. And, we can't dive deep into his relationship or what happened. We don't know. He says she got bored, randomly left him, etc. The signs are always there. You may not have seen him. He may have been slaving at work to provide for the family. They may have been in a dead bedroom. She wasn't getting the attention, etc. You can point the fingers here and there. At the end of the day, logically, it takes two to tango. This relationship didn't fall apart only because it was her fault. He's to blame for some of it too. We're men. We can admit that to ourselves. But the main issue here is the ease at which women can leave. If she gets bored, if you mess up, if you make a mistake here and there, and it ends up being the downfall in your relationship, if you're not on top of your game consistently, because relationships are red pill on hard mode. If you're not doing everything perfectly to keep her attached to you, if you're not advancing, if you're not constantly above her on the pedestal in the relationship, if you start giving her too much power, etc. There's so much that can go wrong. And if you're not prepared or don't have the experience to enter in a long-term relationship, a marriage like that, and then it blows up in your face, she has the possibility, enabled by the state, to walk away scot-free. You will pay up the ass. She keeps all your assets, keeps the kids. You will end up being like this guy. The worst outcomes I've known about were men self-deleting. They could not handle it. When you spend your entire life building, slaving away for something, and it can be taken away from you off an emotional decision and enabled by the government, that is a bad deal. Anywho, join us for the Spartan Challenge on the Discord below and be a part of the community. I'll be doing podcasts with you guys, literally with you guys in the channel. So check us out on Discord. Join our subreddit and our Gilded. Thanks, guys.